You are listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report, podcast number 308.2. John Robertson and Michelle Garmon's reaction to the Fever's 94-86 win over the Wings. John and Michelle, or at least one of them, will be here after every Fever game with their reaction.
You're listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report with your host, Greg Mengel.
Welcome, Fever fans, to the Central Indiana Sports Report and Michelle Garmon's and John Robertson's reaction to the Fever's 94-86 win in Dallas, a game they dominated most of the way and then made things way too interesting at the end. John?
Well, I think dominated most of the way is an overstatement. They dominated the first half. First half was complete domination, and then the second half, they did what they've been doing, where they don't keep playing hard when they have a lead, and they let other teams back in the game. And it was way too close. There was a moment in the fourth quarter I was like, they're going to blow this lead, and they let Dallas get the lead again. But they ended up they did. You could see the fire, and you could see them playing to win again once they lost the lead. But it shouldn't take that, right? I don't, me, right. I'm positive. I don't try to be a negative and focus on the negative guy, but I was a little frustrated with it, but happy with the win.
Let me play devil's advocate. They played last night. They jump out to a 25 point lead in the second quarter. It's hard not to take your foot off the gas. That's just the way nature is. And they also knew that they had Kelsey Mitchell, and there was nothing Dallas could do to stop her. So you let up a little. That's what happened. That's
fair. It's just they've been doing it a lot lately, and that's how they're letting these teams back in games they should be winning. But Kelsey Mitchell tonight was unbelievable. Kelsey Mitchell was on pace for almost a 40-point night at the halftime.
And Michelle, you said Ari McDonald might not start. Maybe not tonight, but eventually would. She did start tonight, and she was awesome too.
Oh, she was. I mean, she is just that punch or that spark plug, I think, that the Fever need right now. She's very confident. She's like Caitlin in that regard. She brings confidence to her play on the floor, and I'm not so sure that Colson is that confident. And the Fever need that because they need Mitchell to be able to play the two and not have to worry about facilitating. And so it was great for Ari to start today. She had a really good game. And then I thought in the third quarter when things, when things were starting to get away a little bit, Mitchell and Boston kind of went a little two-man game and did a nice job of separating again. And then, I'll give Fever credit because tonight they probably finished this game better tonight than even the Seattle game. When you say, John, just because Dallas had come all the way back and had taken a lead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Dallas got a 1-point lead for 30 seconds, and then Fever took the lead back and then never gave it back. But it was a two-person game, really. I mean, Aaliyah Boston and Kelsey Mitchell were dominated the points. They had 53 of the total points, just the two of them.
But Natasha Howard was awfully good too.
Yeah, well, that was the point. I was going to make that point too. At the end, when we really needed somebody to scrap, Natasha Howard was there, and her defense was really great, and she was rebounding. And that was the point that, Natasha Howard's been somewhat frustrating at times because she's dropped so many passes and easy things that you shake your head and you want to pull your hair out. But she's so good when she's playing on, and she's a fantastic rebounder, and she scored 15 tonight, and she's defensively really good. So yeah, I do think she was one of the keys to making sure they didn't blow the lead at the end and maintaining it once they started to get it back. Like Michelle said, I think Kelsey and Aaliyah were the key to the game tonight. If without those two, we get destroyed.
I will say this. For Dallas, what a night, what a game for Paige Beckers to have for them. I mean, she's been good this year, but she looked really pretty good tonight on that side. But I thought the I thought the
Good to
Fever did
see
a
how
great job.
good to see how well she's adjusting.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but I thought it was great to see the Fever not let Enrique go off, because she is one. She's a shooter. She's a scorer that if you let her get hot and she really starts going, then you can be in trouble.
Yeah, I agree with the Page had a good night. Like, she looked good on defense too. It wasn't just her offense. She was really closing out some blocks and
She's a
putting
good
pressure on her.
defensive player.
Yeah, so
Good passer. Yeah, she's got it all.
I was really surprised, like, not to go back to the Fever real quick, but I was really happy to see Mitchell with some sick assists. She had some really solid passes that I didn't expect to see from her. She had 7 assists tonight. Yeah, I don't remember how many Enrique had tonight.
15.
Yeah, Paige had 27. It was closer than it should have been.
Way closer than it should have been. But again, you understand back-to-back nights. You don't want to make excuses, but the bottom line is on back-to-back nights, if you win on the road, no matter how bad the other team is, it's a good win.
I agree. We're seeing the trend of them not closing out games, and I really would like to see them fix that. I would really like to see them keep.
You understand that they're playing without one of the best players in the world, right?
Well, sure, of course, but like when you've got a 23-point lead, you shouldn't be losing the lead in the third quarter.
But
it's hard not to.
Doesn't necessarily mean they don't lose leads in the fourth quarter, because I know maybe she wasn't quite healthy. When she wasn't shooting well after she came back, they were still blowing some fourth quarter leads.
I understand that.
I just think it's a team.
What I will say this,
but this
John,
team shouldn't be graded on this performance.
Oh, no. But they did the same thing last night, too, against the Sparks.
And again.
But, John, you brought up Kelsey. And I thought the key tonight was, because I thought last night she tried to do she was hitting shots, but there were times she tried to put it all on her shoulders and force a couple things. And I thought tonight she did a much better job of finding instead of forcing up a shot once she got dribbled and got stopped, finding the open player for the basket.
No, I agree with that completely.
She had her foot off the gas just a little bit. Like, she usually goes a little too hard sometimes. Like, I like to compare her to Benedict Mathurin, because they're similar types of players. Once they get going toward the basket, good luck stopping them.
Yeah, she definitely let the game come to her instead of trying to force it all night, which I think was good. That's one of those things, like we've said a couple of times on here, that, like, maybe these games without Caitlin will help the team figure out what their roles need to be and help them be better at all that, not just counting on Caitlin all the time. And I think that's the fans too. I think the fans are so, like, if the Fever had lost, like, and then they start winning when Caitlin's back, they're going to be, it's only because of Caitlin, and I don't think that's the case either. And I love Caitlin. I'm not trying to be a hater, but, like, the team has to work around her too.
This makes the Fever 8-8 heading into the Commissioner's Cup Championship. We're hearing that Caitlin's probably not playing in that game, right?
I've heard nothing official, but I'm going on, like, I'm fully believing that she won't play the Commissioner's Cup game. I think she's out for 2 weeks. That's my guess. I have nothing official to base that on from the team, but I think it's 2 weeks.
If you look at her demeanor, she doesn't look like a player that is going to be back soon. She just kind of looks lost on the bench. And, I thought when she was out with the quad a little bit and everything, when she was getting close and she knew she was kind of coming back, you could see. But she's looking and a little melancholy. And
by the way, 8-8 is good for 6th in the WNBA, and I would say, considering the fact that Caitlin's missed so much, that Sophie's missed so much, they've had absolutely no roster consistency throughout this season. Being 8-8 is pretty good.
Yeah, and Damaris being gone also. Like, I think that's a big, like, obviously Caitlin's the biggest.
Her loss right now.
Yeah, I think Caitlin's the big name that everybody notices, and, like, as you should, she's one of the best players in the league. But, like, missing Damaris is actually bad for the rotation. Like, it's not good. Yeah, I'm happy with 8-8 right now. Like, Sophie made a comment the other night in her press thing that I thought was really good. She's like, we're obviously not going to peak too early, so let's get all this stuff out of the way now so that when we get to the playoffs.
I like it.
I do. I thought that was one of the smartest comments that I'd really heard. And the other thing she said is, like, the team has to realize that everybody's marking the Fever games on their calendar because nobody likes us.
Sure.
That was literally the quote. Nobody likes us. And I'm like, yeah, you should just go in, take that mentality and run with it.
Let's be the bad guys.
Yeah.
So Tuesday's game is at Minnesota. That is at 8 o'clock on Prime Video. Then the Fever play every other day for the next 6 games, all at home, before playing another every other day, July 15th at Connecticut. So 6 straight games at home, Vegas on the 3rd, the Sparks on the 5th, the Valkyries on the 9th, the Dream on the 11th, Dallas again on network television, ABC, on July 13th, and then Connecticut on the 8th. All right, guys, so 16 games through the season, feeling pretty good. Final thoughts, we'll start with Michelle and close with John.
I thought this was a really nice bounce back win, and, you always hate the term bounce back, but especially because it's on the road. It came on the road, and it came after playing last night. It came with the Fever still shorthanded, and as you said, John, it's not just Caitlin, it's Demont. It's her being gone too. I think this was an important win to get because they beat a Mavericks team that they should beat, and they did it on the road. And even though they blew that lead, they found a way to win. That's important. So I like where the Fever are now. They get to come back home, and now they get to prepare for a really tough Minnesota Lynx team on Tuesday.
I think it was a good win. It's a tale of 2 games that if they just take the hits, they showed that they can be extremely dominant in the first half, and they showed in the second half that they can gut it out when things aren't going the way they need to. So they need to focus on those 2 positives, take that into their next few games, and continue to build on what they got. So when their roster's full and everybody's there, they can bring it all home in the fall.
Yep.
Daisy says go Fever.
Love it.
Daisy says vote for Lexi Hall for the WNBA
Yes.
All-Star.
Hey, if you haven't voted, it's double votes day Friday.
I've already voted, John. I got her done.
All right, vote for Lexi Hall. She had a bad night tonight, but still vote for Lexi Hall.
Well, you know what?
Bad nights are kind of relative. Statistically, definitely a bad night for Lexi Hall, but not a bad night overall. And again, go vote for Lexi Hall, says John and Casey. And Daisy. And Susie? Susie says go vote for Lexi Hall as well. Sure. Go vote for Lexi Hall. It's unanimous. Thank you for listening. Always appreciate it. Thanks to John and Michelle. And if you want to do us a favor and help us continue to podcast, all you have to do is share this podcast with your friends and family. Info on the Sports Report is brought to you by PG Media. And love you, Susie.